Okay, so that was the first video was the drawing with the vacutainers, the syringes, the butterflies, and with the use of the transfer devices. Now I'm going to go over the order of draw and the purpose of each tube, what it yields, meaning what does it give you as far as a specimen. And the first order of draw is always sterile. So blood cultures is your first one. And the reason why is because you're doing a sterile technique when you draw this, and you're using chlorhexidine gluconate. And that is the same thing they use in surgeries. Once they've scrubbed the area, it continues to clean for up to 24 hours around that incision site and or needle stick site. So chlorhexidine gluconate is what you would want to use for your blood cultures, and that will always be first. That is called a sterile technique. The rest of the phlebotomy is only aseptic, which means it's just a clean area. And we can do that by using the alcohol, or if you choose to use the chlorhexidine, you can do that too. But your first one after that is your blue top tubes. This is, the additive is sodium citrate. This is the tube that has to be full. It has a 9-to-1 ratio. So the amount of anticoagulant that's in this tube is specifically measured for that much blood. If it's too little or not enough, you're going to have skewed results. And this is tests for APTTs. If the patient is on heparin, it tests for proteims, fibrinogens, D-dimers, anything to do with clotting. Factor 5, factor 8, you're going to see a lot of these with stroke patients, hemophilia patients, and cardiac AFib patients. So that is your first tube. Your second tube is going to be a serum tube. Now these are all different kinds of serum tube. They have a clot activator sprinkled on the inside. All tubes have additives. All of these have sprinkled on the inside. You can see the stuff on the inside. And that helps hasten the clotting of the blood. It doesn't cause it to clot, but it helps it get started. So then when this fills, you mix it like you do everything else, and then the gel that's in there weighs less than the cells, so when it centrifuges at a certain speed, the cells are heavier, they'll fall below the gel, so you have your serum, your separator, and then your cells. So that is your next order. You're going to have a red top that doesn't have any gel separator, and then you'll have these, and it doesn't matter which one of the three goes next, as long as it's one of those. Your next one is going to be your green top tube. Now, depending on your institute of where you're working and the analyzers they use for their chemistry test, you're going to use a lot of these or a lot of your tiger tops. This has lithium heparin in it. This is mostly for chemistries, your CK troponins, your lipase, your lipids, your glucoses, your tummy enzymes, cardiac enzymes, your liver function, your kidney function. This is going to tell you all of that stuff. This is going to yield plasma because it has an additive in it that stops it from clotting. These I didn't tell you. These are for like LDH, hormone levels, PSAs, anything serology, RPRs, STDs, stuff like that. So that is serum. Now this green one has a sister tube. This is a sodium heparin. What would happen if you were to submit a basic metabolic in this tube?
It wouldn't have the additives?
It does have the additive, but it has extra sodium in it. The anticoagulant in it is a sodium-based anticoagulant. So it would elevate falsely your sodium levels. So do not get confused with your sodium heparin versus your lithium heparin. This is for flow cytometries, bone marrows. It's usually a diagnostic test. Once you've determined if you have bone marrow issues, leukemia, that's the word. This here will tell you how far along in the disease process you are. It's a diagnostic. So you have your lithium heparin and your sodium heparin. Then your next one is going to be your EDTA, and this is going to be for your CBCs. What's CBC?
Complete blood count.
Complete blood count. This yields whole blood or plasma because it has an anticoagulant in it. And this will tell you your red blood cells, your white blood cells, your platelets. It's going to tell you if your monocytes or your leukocytes or your basophils or your neutrophils are elevated, whatever. And all of those words as a phlebotomist don't mean squat to me. I mean, I know what they are, but I tell my students you don't have to worry about the names of the ages or the cells, because all that determines is the age of the cell. So all you want to know is that this is a CBC, it is used for complete blood count, and it's whole blood. But that will be your next tube. And then this is sister to that, it is EDTA, but this is a blood bank tube. When you need a type and screen or ROGAM, something that requires blood banking and type and screening, this is the tube that you'll need. This, as a phlebotomist, I have to hand label. As a nurse, you can use a chart label and just date, time, and initial it and have a second nurse sign off. Okay? But this has special requirements. It has to be hand labeled and it has to be blood bank. And you have to hand label it off the receipt. And then after that,
We can ask
sure.
why? Like,
Why?
Why you have to hand label it?
Because I'm just a phlebotomist.
okay.
I am certified, but I am not licensed like you guys will
Okay.
be.
Okay.
So I'm low man on the totem pole, so to speak.
Because for phlebotomy, you don't have to be state licensed, right?
Right. We are certified. Not certifiable, certified. But you will be licensed. And that
Okay.
makes you a little bit, on
So-
the hierarchy, you'll be a little bit higher than me, a lot
So you
higher.
can only use an electronic label if you are licensed?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. The next orders are, they're a little different and you won't run across these very often, but this is a pearl top. If somebody has used a serum tube and has been diagnosed with HIV or Hep C, Hep B, whatever, this would be a diagnostic like the sodium heparin is with a bone marrow. This would be, if you draw this or this one, then you know that that person has some liver issues. The reason you're drawing these is to see how far along the disease process is with that patient. So these would be the next, and both of these have additives, so they would be plasma. This one, if you look at the difference in these, one has a red label and one has a lavender label. So the red one would be a clot activator, which is serum, and the purple would be EDTA, which is plasma. These are for trace elements. You'll see a lot of these at the clinics when they bring the kids in for trace elements, lead and minerals and stuff like that. So these are for trace elements, and the same with the tan. But these will all go after those. And I think that was it. Any questions about this?